Figuring out how much to charge as a freelance video editor is tricky. It's super important to get your rate right so you're paid fairly for your skills and effort. But where should you start? When I started freelancing, I undervalued my time and skills, which led to feeling overworked, financial struggles, and burnout. Like many freelancers, I struggled with setting my rates despite researching the market and trying to stay competitive. This ultimately led to a long break from freelancing, which almost killed my career. When I returned, I reevaluated my rates and finally followed all the necessary steps to calculate a wage that was fair, covered my expenses, and provided a better work life balance. Here's how I did it. In this video, we will be working with a free calculator tool that you can download in the description below. Using the steps outlined in this video, you will be able to quickly and accurately determine an hourly rate that will help you cover all of your expenses using this tool. Let's start with step number 1, calculate your annual expenses. The initial step in determining your hourly rate is to calculate both your personal and business expenses. While this step may seem tedious, it is crucial for setting a rate that accurately reflects your financial needs. Remember that your work should provide a livelihood, and your rate should compensate you fairly for all of life's expenses. Personal expenses that should be accounted for are your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, and other living costs like clothing, entertainment, travel, and personal care. Don't forget to include any savings targets and other financial commitments. You should also include your necessary business expenses like the cost of your editing software, necessary plugins, and any additional services like royalty-free music, stock footage, and motion graphics templates. Video editing is also demanding on your hardware, and as technology advances, you'll need to upgrade your computer, monitors, storage drives, and other hardware to keep up with industry standards. Other costs may include office rent, marketing and advertising, website hosting, business travel, and professional development. It's okay to estimate these expenses, but the more accurate they are, the more accurate your rate will be. If you haven't done this yet, start keeping track of all of your expenses, both personal and business, throughout the year. This will give you a clearer picture of where your money's going. You can use financial tracking apps or even just a simple spreadsheet to stay organized and on budget. Also, think about future costs or life changes that might pop up, like buying a house or starting a family. It's better to be safe than sorry, so overestimate a little to give yourself a financial cushion. Your expenses will change over time as both your business and personal life evolve, so make sure to review and adjust your rate regularly to keep up. It's important to note that if you share expenses with your partner who also works, you will need to take your total combined annual expenses and subtract that person's take-home pay. The result will be the remaining annual expenses you are responsible for covering with your rate. To recap, the amount you input in the sheet should account for all of life's expenses, minus health insurance costs and retirement savings. For this example, let's add in $50,000. Step number 2, determine your average weekly billable hours. The next step is to calculate how many hours you can realistically bill in a year. Your time is one of your most valuable assets, and while it's important to maintain a regular work schedule, the hours spent unbilled are just as important. As a freelancer, you will have numerous essential tasks that fall outside billable hours. These non-billable hours are crucial for maintaining your business and professional growth, but require careful management to ensure profitability. Some of the most important administrative tasks to consider are client acquisition. You will spend a lot of time networking, preparing proposals, and pitching your services to potential clients. This can take a lot of time, especially in the beginning as you build up your reputation and freelancing career. View this unbillable time as an investment in the future because as your network grows, more and more potential clients will be seeking out your services. Marketing and self-promotion. As important as it is to reach out to potential clients, it's just as important to develop a means for potential clients to find you. Building your brand, updating your website and portfolio, creating marketing materials, engaging in social media, and requesting testimonials to build credibility are all important tasks that are unbilled but can lead to future work. The more time you invest upfront in these tasks, the higher potential there is to land higher paying contracts in the future. Invoicing and bookkeeping. This work is essential to get paid in a timely manner so you have no cash flow issues in your business. Creating and sending invoices, tracking payments, managing expenses, and maintaining financial records are all essential tasks that you will need to learn how to do on a regular basis. Thankfully, there is software and services that make this work especially easy for freelancers to get started. Project management. The more busy you become, it will become even more essential to effectively manage your workload. Scheduling your time, organizing files, and coordinating with clients and collaborators are all very necessary tasks to help you not fall behind. Taxes and legal compliance. Yes, taxes are due once a year, but as a freelancer, you have the responsibility to pay your quarterly estimated taxes. Additionally, recording and managing all of your revenue and expenses throughout the year will make it much easier when tax season rolls around. Make sure you allocate enough time to prepare your tax returns, stay informed about regulations, and ensure compliance with legal requirements. In addition to investing unbilled time in these important administrative tasks, you should also consider spending time on your professional development, which is crucial for long-term career success. Continuous improvement is necessary for growth and increased earning potential. Prioritizing professional development is key to staying relevant, maintaining a competitive edge, and unlocking better career prospects and higher earning potential. Some of these items include skill enhancement. You will need to take time to attend workshops, conferences, and online courses to learn new techniques, software, and industry trends. Software and hardware updates. Staying current with the latest editing tools, plugins, and equipment will make you a faster and more efficient editor, allowing you to do more and take on higher paying jobs. Industry research. If you like to stay at the top of your field, you will need to take some time to keep up with market trends, competitor analysis, and emerging technologies. Remember that these non-billable hours are investments in your business and long-term success. By allocating time and resources effectively, you can ensure that these activities support your overall goals and contribute to a sustainable and thriving video editing career. A common guideline a lot of freelancers like to follow suggests aiming for a billable rate of 75% or more of your total working hours. So if you want to work 40 hours a week, aim for at least 30 billable hours. Let's add that into the sheet here. Step 3, determine your benefits. Understanding how to calculate a sustainable hourly rate that covers the perks and security an employed person might take for granted can empower you to set prices confidently and build a thriving freelance career. Factoring benefits like paid time off, health insurance, and retirement contributions have significant financial value. Self-employed editors must also account for estimated tax payments. Neglecting these factors can lead to underpricing your services and financial instability. Let's start with PTO, or paid time off. As a freelancer, you don't get paid for vacation days, sick days, or personal time. This lost income needs to be considered when setting your rate. If you would like to follow a typical path, as a beginner, you'll usually start with 10 to 15 days off for 2 to 3 weeks in entry-level positions, and that can bump up to 15 to 20 days or 3 to 4 weeks as you gain more experience. There is a reason why most companies offer PTO when hiring full-time employees. Incorporating PTO into your rate is an important step to maintain a healthy work-life balance, and it is a key way to help you prevent burnout. For this example, let's start with 2 weeks of PTO. As a freelancer, you're also responsible for your own health, dental, and vision insurance. This is a significant expense that you will need to cover in your rate if you do not have this already covered. To do this, you will need to calculate your annual health insurance costs and add that number into your sheet. Let's say your annual health insurance costs are $7,200. We'll add that in here. As a freelancer, you also need to be proactive about saving for your future. To do this, you will need to determine how much you want to save for retirement each year. For this example, let's say you want to save $5,000 per year for retirement. You're also responsible for paying both the employee and employer portions of taxes like Social Security and Medicare, as well as your income tax. This can be a complex process and may require consulting a tax professional. It's also important to remember that this calculation isn't directly added to your rate in the same way as benefits, but understanding this cost is important for setting a rate that allows you to meet your tax obligations and still have sufficient take-home pay. The percentage you add in here is going to calculate a rough estimate to get started with. A good range would be somewhere between 25 and 30%, which accounts for both the self-employment and income tax, but it will vary based on your income level, business expenses, and deductions. For this example, we will put in 25%. And there you have it, an hourly rate that you can work with. But before you begin advertising it to everyone, you should accurately assess your skills and honestly evaluate your abilities. Entry-level video editors will likely charge less than those with several years of experience and a strong portfolio. But as you gain experience and expertise, you can justify charging higher rates. The cost of living and demand for video editors can also vary significantly based on location. Major metropolitan areas typically command higher rates than smaller towns or rural areas. As remote work becomes more available and the market grows, it is also becoming more competitive. Explore freelance platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Guru, and job boards to see what other entry-level video editors are charging for similar services. Look for rates on projects that match your skill level and the types of videos you can edit, like basic social media clips, personal vlogs, instructional videos, etc. Different video types may also have different standards for video editor rates. For example, corporate video editing may pay differently than video editing for YouTube or documentary work. Each project requires a different set of skills, and the more you specialize in developing certain skills, like motion graphics, color correction, or working with specific video editing software, you could be able to charge more depending on the project requirements. There are plenty of more factors that can affect your overall rate, but it's important to remember that you should aim for a fair rate that reflects the effort you are putting in. Even if you're building your portfolio, your time has value. Don't underprice yourself significantly just to get work, as this can lead to burnout and devalue your skills in the long run, which is the problem I ran into. It derailed my freelancing career for several years, and it was a costly mistake. You should also be prepared to negotiate your rate, but within reason. Have a minimum rate in mind that you're comfortable with. Some clients, especially individuals or small businesses, might have limited budgets. Be open to discussing the project scope to find a solution that works for both of you, but don't compromise your minimum acceptable rate. Step 5. Review and adjust. Remember that your hourly rate isn't fixed and should be regularly reviewed and adjusted. It should be flexible and can be tailored to specific projects and clients, evolving with your skills and experience. Regular reassessment of your rate ensures you're adequately compensated for the valuable video editing work you provide. There are several factors that may influence your video editing rates over time. Here are some specific scenarios that you may run into and would need to keep in mind. Gaining traction in a new market. What if you are starting off in your career or trying to break into a new market? You may need to initially lower your rates to build your portfolio and gain testimonials. This is the strategy I pursued to gain a foothold in Upwork's marketplace, and it worked better than I expected. Now I rarely apply to new jobs and instead am hired directly by clients to work with them on a weekly basis. If you choose to do this, it is important to communicate to clients that you are offering an introductory rate and hope to receive a fair assessment of your work after the job is complete. Early in your career, honest reviews of your services are more important than the full monetary compensation you think you should receive for a contract. It will help you guarantee ongoing work in the future, which is more important than any one contract, and it will help you justify raising your rates as you gain more experience. Of course, you really need to go above and beyond on those early projects to overwhelm your clients and get a glowing review. Developing new skills. Developing and specializing in new skills can also affect your rates and help you raise them. Animating logos and titles, learning how to edit with music so it sounds like your videos are composed, chroma keying tricky green screen backgrounds, and color grading raw footage are all specialized skills that will help you stand out from other editors and in many cases help you justify raising your rates depending on what's required for the project. Specializing in a niche. Also, specializing and developing a niche can help set you apart in the freelance marketplace and should be reflected in your pricing. A niche could include editing social media content, commercial editing, documentary work, real estate videos, instructional videos, or any other subject that would require more specialized editing skills and a strong knowledge of the format. Increased interest in your services. Also, be sure to recognize an increased demand for your services. When that occurs and you have consistently more work than you can handle or a waiting list of clients, it's a strong indicator that you can likely raise your rates. High demand signifies that your services are valued. More complex projects. This is also true for projects that are more complex than others. As you take on more demanding projects, your rate should reflect your extra efforts as well, especially if you are managing a team of people working under a short deadline or if it requires specialized expertise and software. If you're just starting out, focus on gaining experience, building a strong portfolio, and getting positive feedback. Your initial rates should be competitive, but also reflect the value of your time and the costs you incur. As your skills and portfolio grow, you'll have a stronger foundation to confidently raise your rates. By regularly reassessing your hourly rate, you ensure that you are fairly compensated for your skills and time, maintain a sustainable freelance career, and position yourself competitively in the video editing market. So if you're considering starting your freelance career and need to determine a good starting rate, or if you have been working a while and are considering changing your rates, be sure to download the calculator in the description below. It will help provide you with a realistic accounting of where every dollar is spent from your hourly rate. Did I miss anything? Do you have a different method to calculate your hourly rate? Drop a comment below to let me know. And if this video was helpful, consider subscribing to the channel and visit filmformat.com for more reviews and tutorials. Thanks for watching.